Waka waka, bitch. That's how we start the show, man. We just say stupid shit.
No other show starts up like that, which is a stupid-ass comment, and it's acceptable here.
And what are the chances that somebody hears that and they go, you know, I'd really like to listen to the rest of this. They probably have something of substance to say.
I have no idea.
There's like a 3%
only like
chance.
Waka Flocka.
Yeah.
It's the only dude who's like, I'm gonna
did they say my name?
Yeah.
So, how's it? Oh, is that my phone?
Yeah.
Do we even know where it is?
No idea. That sounded like it came from like out of space.
Oh, here it is. Here it is. See, guys, I'm popular. That's Waka Flocka texting me.
He's like, yo, thanks for the shout out, man. No one's spoken about me since I looked like Kel from Good Burger.
So it's been, what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks since we spoke? Probably like
2 weeks.
We were off 2, right? So then it was 3 weeks. Wow. Doesn't feel like it was that long, right? Or am I wrong?
Not really. It feels like we were just here last week.
Yeah. But I told you how so many people like have been tweeting at me. I don't look at the Facebook at all. Lilith runs that pretty much all. But I don't know if people have commented there about the show. But on Twitter, man, people are like, what are you and your boy going to do?
We're getting love?
Yeah, we're getting love, man.
That's what's up. Good looks, people.
And I was telling you, and I mean this, man, this is so much more fun for me than doing my show. This. Yeah, it's great because we just got to talk about fucking anything.
And I remember last week on the air, I was nervous. I was like, at the end of the show, I was holding out the whole time to eat my protein bar.
Oh, really?
And you were like, dude, do whatever the fuck you want. Open up the protein bar. I was nervous the rapper was just going to be like...
Yeah, it doesn't... like this, it doesn't matter. Like, there was one time, I don't know whether it was the last time we did the show or 2 times ago, but like I got up to close the door at one point, and you told me how you were like, fuck, he's walking away. Now I gotta fill the dead air.
Yeah,
and I was gone for how much 3 seconds, and you get that thing. I mean, look, it happens when it comes to doing some shit like this. Take it from somebody who does it every day. Like you'll get used to it.
Yeah.
But there's always like the beginning portion for a little bit where you're nervous, and that happens with anybody. I mean, honestly, think about it. I'm quite literally a professional talker at this point.
Yeah.
But even me and everybody, like. Okay, I was going to make the most douchey analogy ever, but I'm going to do it.
Yeah, you got to do it now.
But, okay, and I'm not comparing myself to this person at all, but Tiger says that when he tees up, he's nervous every time.
Yeah.
Every time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there was a quote I heard somebody say, it was like, if you don't get nervous for the shit you do
anymore,
then
it's not worth it.
Yeah, then it's like, you should just stop doing it.
But the thing that I found is the more you do it, the smaller that window of nervousness gets. Because once you get rolling, you're just like, oh, I really don't give a shit.
Yeah,
whatever.
and when we were
Plus, we can say anything to this audience, and they don't care.
True.
I don't know if you saw any of the clips on, what was it? Yeah, my Friday show that I uploaded yesterday. I admit at one point that sometimes I look at porn that involves face-sitting. Like, I admitted that on air. And I said, even before I said it, I was like, I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say this. And then I described how...
I don't think I've ever seen it actually done. I always just like say...
Shut the fuck up. You've never seen it?
I don't think I've seen it, like, but I've said, like...
I want to see somebody sit on somebody's face.
Or I've said about like a hot girl, I'll be like, oh, I'd love for her to just sit on my face.
Thank you. See? I've weird.
I don't know. I've actually seen someone actually sit on someone's face.
Oh, you haven't seen it? Dude, are you kidding me? Youporn.com, youjizz.com, xvideos.com, xnxx.com. Want me to continue? I could continue probably. Pornhub, RedTube.
I just feel like you get pink eye or something, right? Or double pink eye.
As long as it felt good when it happened, I don't give a fuck. I'll deal with the pink eye, man. But the original story.
Family had pink eye. I hope it wasn't from that.
The original story was about how it was a disgusting video. A guy had an eel in his bowels.
And you were watching this?
No. Yes, that's what I go to beat off to. I'm typing into Google eel in ass porn. No, it was a news story that I did for the show.
Oh, okay.
So I was. I thought I would beat off to that. Oh my god, that's disgusting.
I have no idea.
But I guess it makes sense for some people because that's what they wanted to do to get off. The dude put an eel in his ass, or it wasn't an eel. This one specifically was an eel-like fish. It was a South American lungfish or some shit they called it.
Oh man!
So there's a little video of the surgery when they're taking the eel out of his bowels, and you hear like all the nurses are laughing and they're recording it on their phones.
I'm in such shock right now.
No, I know. And so part of my commentary in discussing that, I was like, I feel so normal in comparison now. Because look, that guy, he didn't ask for that weird fetish. Like, it's not like, he was like, he made a choice one day, like, I really want a needle in my ass. There was a logical progression where it was like, he learned that he liked things in his ass, probably started with a finger or something with a girl, right? And then it went on to like, maybe I'll go a little bigger, a dildo? So then it went to dildos, and then it probably went to like some weird toy that you fucking microwave and slap on some KY jelly on that bitch. And then it was the final step was, not only do I want something big and slimy in my ass, I want it to wiggle. And they're like, well, the only option is a fucking fish.
Tickle me Elmo.
So then he probably started, I bet you the dude started with like just part of it at first, and then eventually he was like, I want the whole thing in my ass. And then it just happens. And then I said, look, this makes me feel like the most normal dude ever, because the creepiest I get is I want to see some face sitting. Oh. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I feel like,
Do you think you'll ever get to the eel stage?
No. See, that's the thing. Some people have this theory that, and it's true to an extent, that when it comes to sexuality and certain things in life, you always increase in creepiness,
Yeah.
But here's why that's both true and untrue.
Well, that's like with everything,
Exactly. It's true in the sense that
try harder tricks or
it's
something.
true in the sense that it's true with everything in that way, that there is always, if you really like something, there's always this increase, right, that you do.
Yeah.
But here's why with sexuality, I don't necessarily buy into it 100%. Because if you've ever taken 4 or 5 days off of sex or beating off, your brain resets to the point where if you could look at fucking like 1990 style pictures online, still frames of porn, and that turns you on because you haven't busted a nut in 4 or 5 days. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's always this constantly resetting process in your mind when it comes to sex, because that's how it's hardwired in us. But see, the downfall, I think, is when they never take that break, they never reset their brain, and they just keep getting more and more weird and perverse, and the next thing you know, they're putting needles in their ass and nurses are laughing at it during the surgery.
Yeah. Does that cause Ebola? The eels?
Maybe. No, never.
That's weird. That's
speaking
so
of
weird.
Ebola, there was the other story we covered on Friday. The dude who, like a Russian conservative guy, politician.
Yeah.
He wanted to ban Tim Cook, the Apple CEO, just came out as gay.
Yeah.
He wanted to ban him from his country because he's afraid that Tim Cook will bring Ebola to Russia.
Oh, what a genius.
And I had to explain to this idiot, like, I'd say it like I know him. Like, I called him and I said, bro, I had to tell him, like, who says that? Like, how little do you know about science?
Yeah.
Like, have you never gone on the internet? Have you never fact-checked anything?
It's just embarrassing.
That's my point. I was like, that's embarrassing, number one. Number two, you're probably gay.
Yeah.
Because if you are so vitriolic, and this is the same guy who wrote the anti-gay legislation in Russia right now that's like somewhat infamous, because they decided they're just going to like ban being gay and ban any gay actions because it's gay propaganda for kids. So it's a total wide crackdown on gay people. He wrote that law. So this is a guy who's got some serious, deep repressed issues. Yeah.
Like
and guys, they're always so sad, those people, because they really, for whatever reason, they wholeheartedly believe that there's something immoral about being gay, when like they can't get in their mind that there's nothing wrong with it.
Everyone's accepting it.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
And you should, just as well as I do, this guy wants to throw on some assless chaps and march in the gay pride parade.
Yep.
But he can't bring himself to do it, and he's a self-hater.
Yeah.
It sucks for those people, because then a lot of it, sometimes it's religious undertones that go into it. Sometimes it's parents who are super anti-gay, so it gets passed on to them. But whatever it is, they struggle from this inability to be objective about a question. The question being, is being gay immoral? What's so amazing is that guys like that are more pissed off and they think being gay is more immoral than like starving kids in your country, and like going to war. Guys like that are always so quick to go to war and want to fight people, and they don't think that's immoral. They're like, that's fine. I punched somebody in the face, or I invaded fucking Crimea and jacked half the fucking country. But then when it comes to gay sex, they're like, well, that's immoral.
Yeah.
What you do with your dick is immoral.
Yeah, they got it twisted.
So before we came on air, Corin sent me this thing earlier today, and he was like, we should probably talk about this on the show, and I was taking a look at it. It looks like it's definitely worth mentioning.
Yeah.
He sent me this, what is it, the 5 most extreme haunted houses in America?
Yeah, well, I brought it up to you because last night, I'm not a haunted house guy. I never really go to haunted house. Like, I'm a little bitch.
Me too.
When it comes to scary shit, like, I got scared shitless when the first Scream movie came out, and then everybody was wearing those masks for Halloween.
Yeah.
I was like, I only wanted to see the movie because Nev Campbell was fucking hot as shit. But
which one is the one with Jennifer Love Hewitt?
She was
there's Scream, and then there's
summer.
I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. I Know What You Did Last Summer. Yeah.
And then there was like 80 versions.
Back in the day, she was dope.
Yeah, she was. She was pretty hot.
Yeah, she had curves too. Yummy in my tummy.
So anyway, so I got free tickets to go to this haunted house last night, and mind you, I did not want to go. And the haunted house was in Sleepy Hollow. Sleepy Hollow, New York, is where like the infamous like headless horseman
headman shit. I remember that.
It's pretty like notorious. If you go there for Halloween, it's supposed to be scary and very good. So I'm already scared shitless. So my brother offered me the tickets.
Wait, hold on, pause. Sorry, real quick. We both said horseless headman.
Yeah, whatever.
I was trying to think. We both fucked up that sentence. What is it? It's headless horseman. Okay, yeah, got it. So you and your brother. Sorry, you and your brother.
Dude who probably can't see riding his horse. So my brother offers me the tickets, and right away I'm like, nah, I'm good. I don't like haunted houses. So earlier in the day, I asked my girlfriend, I'm like, you want to go see this movie Nightcrawler? Like, the shit looks pretty hot. Like, I want to go see it. She's like, is it scary? I'm like, yeah, probably a little scary. She's like, nah, then I don't want to go see it. So later on in the day, my brother asked me, he goes, you want to go to this haunted house? I'm like, nah, I'm good. I don't really like scary stuff. She goes, oh, well, Molly just said she wants to go see it. I was like, wait, she didn't want to go see Nightcrawler because it was scary as fuck, but she wants to go to some scary haunted house. Long story short, we go to this haunted house. It was pretty fucking scary. It was me, my girlfriend, a Marine who's scary as fuck, and his girlfriend. So there were 3 bitches, me, my girlfriend, and his girlfriend.
3 women, not bitches.
Well, yeah, 3 women.
We gotta be respectable.
And him. So I'm scared the whole time, and I text you to look up that there was more extreme haunted houses than this thing. And just go into what these top 5
are. So here's why this is noteworthy, because normally I wouldn't discuss something like this, but listen to this, man. They say some of these things. I think this might be, like I said, I think some of this might be illegal, but the haunted houses on our list cater to adult audiences and involve waivers, extreme physical contact, safe words, abduction, violence, nudity, and electric shock. And then it shows some pictures. One of them looks like a dead woman with written on her body, haunted hoochie.
I heard the number one in New York pays you $100 if you make it through the haunted house.
Yeah, see, I don't even understand that. Like, what are they going to do to you? They have to break the law almost to get you to want to back out, right? Because everybody's going to want their $100. Yeah. So what the fuck do they do to you? So let me read one of these here. Features. So this is called the Haunted Hoochie at Dead Acres. It's in Pataskala, Ohio. It says it features violence, sexual undertones, extreme physical contact. They say, quote, when we attended the Haunted Hoochie at Dead Acres, an actor threw me over his shoulder and carried me off into a different room where he spun me around several times and then pushed me back in with my group. We were also concerned by men with chainsaws, and one of us got hit in the head. See, that's got to be illegal.
I heard that in California they have like this chainsaw haunted house, and someone went in with an actual chainsaw.
Oh no!
And killed like 6 people. I don't know if it was one of those real or fake articles, but it was on Facebook. I saw it.
A sign at the entrance of the haunted house warns, "Attention! Entering Dead Acres entails known and unanticipated risks that could result in physical or emotional injury. Risks may include, among other things, slipping, falling, collision with fixed objects or other participants. This may be the best haunted house you've ever experienced. Have fun."
Have fun.
Another one is called The Cult. It says you have to be 18 years older or older.
Some of them you have to enter alone.
You must enter alone. That's what this says. Encounter live animals. Yeah. Imagine there's a tiger or some shit. Edibles, they make you eat stuff? Again, that's got to be illegal. Extreme violence, sexual undertones. What do they mean extreme violence?
What's the sexual undertone?
Yeah, I don't know. Do they grab your ass? Again, wouldn't that be illegal? You must sign a waiver. There is a safe word, extreme physical contact.
Oh. Imagine the safe word was just like some weird shit like, I'm having a great time.
And then nobody does anything because they think you just are having a great time.
Or like, this is scary.
Yeah, so this stuff, man, look,
it's crazy, right? Like, I had to show it
honestly, I didn't know that this
my
existed.
My haunted house wasn't that bad, but then I was just like, there's got to be worse stuff than this. And there is.
Yeah, I'm surprised this stuff exists.
But people are into that.
Yeah,
like,
no.
weird,
Another
kinky
one
shit.
here: extreme violence, small enclosed space, edibles. Like, what are they making you eat? Like eyeballs of bats or some shit?
know, like-
Submersion in water, covered in blood. Must sign a waiver. Extreme physical contact. 2 to 3 hour experience.
That's nuts.
You know what that reminds me of? Sorry to cut you off. The thing that me and Henry went to. Did you go to?
I didn't
no,
go.
No, it wasn't.
But
It was
you told
me,
me
Tommy
about it.
Kaplan, Henry.
You just like walked around the building in different rooms, right?
So our buddy Henry, and he's been on the show before.
Uh-huh.
People might remember from back in the day. He's becoming a doctor right now. Great guy. Love him to death. So he invited me to this thing they had an extra ticket for. Some play in the city. So I'm thinking, whatever, I'll go. It's a fucking play in the city. Who gives a shit? So we go to it. This motherfucking play, you have to follow the shit. So, like, it's in this big-ass room or building with so many floors, and this cast is set up, like, weird. Like, everything is part of the play. And they move from one room to another 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 room, back around down, and then they do the whole fucking thing all over again. Right. And that's part of the acting, is they run from one room to another. But this thing was so bad. They would do, like, a line or two, and then, I'm not kidding, they just take off. Like, they take off, like, sprinting into the next room. And then there's this horde of, like, 300, 400 people that fucking follows them immediately. Now, me, I'm like, you gotta be in shape to do this shit. Like, I'm following behind, like, everybody in the back. You're paying money for it. I literally, I lost them, and I think Tommy Kaplan might have lost them too. After like 2 or 3 rooms, we lost them. Yeah. Like, gone. They were, I didn't know where they were, right? And so we're walking around, me and him, after a while, we gave up. We're like, we don't know where the play went. Seriously, we're like, we don't know where the fucking play went. And so, this is the hilarious part of the story. So we're like walking around in the other parts, so like just the set, looking at the set in the rooms that they're not in or have already been to or whatever. No clue where the fucking thing is, right? And then after like an hour and a half or 2 hours or some shit, like the horde fucking reappears. The horde reappears. We see the actors running like past us or some shit. We're like, whoa, what the fuck's happening? Right? And then we see Henry and his brother fucking following, so locked in on another level. I've never seen another human being so locked in. Focused, sprinting after them, ignored me and Tommy. Like, they're like trying to get their elbow in their way to the front and shit. I'm like, what are you guys doing?
Walked into one of the rooms and there was like nudity or something like that?
Yeah. That was the best part of the play. There was, I think we saw one titty. And I was like, this whole experience was not worth it at all, but at least I got to see it.
I would never, I don't know how people are into like following or like doing anything in these Halloween
things that you're involved with, like plays like that. It's like that. No, I'm paying you for you to entertain me.
And have like an $8 bag of Skittles in my hand and watch somebody perform.
Exactly. I'm not like, I'm here to relax, not to do fucking work. What are you kidding me? This is ridiculous. Okay, so.
Did you dress up for Halloween?
No.
Oh.
No. I dressed up as Kyle Klinsky, liberal talk radio host. So I got a whole bunch of stuff. I promised the audience we'd talk about this thing. I'm so curious what your thoughts are on this, man. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you saw this video, this segment I did where we spoke about this guy in Britain. Mm-hmm. He decided, I don't know how long ago, but he's been doing this for a while. He decided, you know what? I'm going to get naked, and I'm just going to walk across the country. So he got butt-ass naked, ball sacks and all, hanging out, everything. Pretty much like Forrest Gump, right? So he has like this backpack, and he wears this hat, and other than that, he's butt-ass naked, and he just walks across the country, right? Mm-hmm. And he went to court over this because I guess he was arrested multiple times for all these different things. And his argument was, no. I have a right to be naked when I walk across the country. His argument is, I have a right to be naked. Like, how dare you find me or lock me up or do anything? Now, for everybody listening right now, Corin's got this look on his face like, wait, are you serious?
Yeah.
Now, look, that was kind of my response too, right? Mm-hmm. But if you look at the video right now, the segment right now on YouTube, it's like 50% like, 50% dislike rate with my comments.
Yeah.
Right? And that's rare. Usually my videos are like 80 to 95-ish% like to dislike. So whenever there's something off like that, I'm always like, okay, where did I fuck up on this? Like, what am I missing that other people see that I don't see? So when I started my comments by saying, look, this may be a silly conversation to have, but let's dive into whether or not he's right or wrong. And here's what I said. So if you really go by like a strict libertarian argument of like, you should be able to do whatever you want to do as long as you're not hurting anybody else. There is a stretch of an argument to be made there that, like, fuck off, big government, let this guy just walk naked across the country, right? But then I said, in the end, I disagree with that, because if you're naked just walking around outside in public, right?
It affects other people.
Not only does it affect other people, because who cares, if it's like, if it's me or you, like an adult seeing it, 'cause it's like whatever. But like for kids, like you know what I said? I said, and this is where people maybe disagreed with me, but I said it's like a very mild form of pedophilia. Because like some 4-year-old, 6-year-old, like they don't want to see your fucking nutsack and your dick hanging all over the place, and they got to ask their parents like, hey, what's going on here? Like,
that's
you know what I mean?
No, Well, I could sort of relate to this story in a weird way. I went to, they have these big, I'm into sneakers a little bit, and they had this big sneaker event in New York City called SneakerCon. And like hundreds and hundreds of, maybe thousands of people go out, and they bring all their Jordans and Nikes, and they trade, and people buy shoes. And it was at this like event center. And to get into the event center first, it was early. There was a huge line outside in New York City. This is the middle of like New York City on the West Side Highway. And where you had to wait around, there was this big open park. So there's little kids there, there's older guys there. In the middle of the park, there was like a group of 15 to 20 people reading books, butt-ass naked. This was this summer. So I'm standing in line, I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Like, what's going on? Why are these people, but there's like little kids around here, like they can't do that shit. So turns out I asked my mom, and I was like, Mom, this is weird. Like we were waiting in line, like, because I was with my nephew, he's young. And I didn't know what to think. I'm like, this is weird for him. Like for me, I can sort of see like
whatever you can brush it off.
These dudes are just like maybe on their hippie shit. But for him, he doesn't know what to think. Like, so what is he thinking? So it turned out that like these 15 to 20 people would go to a park like every week and read books because it was like some art gallery like thing they were doing. So some people took it as it was like art, that these people are naked reading books. So I guess like. My mom was saying they couldn't get in trouble or something because it was public exposure or whatever the law is.
But they weren't arrested or anything?
They weren't arrested. They were allowed to sit there naked. And
see, look,
and like my mom saw it as art because she's back from like the 60s, went to Woodstock, all that stuff. No, see, but I was like, I was weirded out by it, but I was okay with it.
Here's the thing. I don't know what the punishment should be. Like, should it just be a fine? Should it be, hey, we're going to take you to jail and you're just going to spend half a day in jail and then we'll let you go? I don't know what the punishment should be.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I don't think a lot of people would counter-argue what I'm saying is like, oh, you're just falling guilty to like being closed-minded as part of your culture. That's why you don't accept this. But I actually don't buy that argument. I think that's bullshit because look, you want to talk about open-minded. I'm the guy who defended the Pornhub billboard in the middle of Times Square because the billboard didn't have any nudity on it, didn't have anybody fucking, didn't have anybody doing anything that's wrong. It just said the words Pornhub and it had a picture of somebody's hands like this in a heart shape. And I'm the guy that said, no, that's totally fine. We got to be reasonable about this stuff because look, what, we're supposed to pretend like porn doesn't exist because kids exist? No, as long as the billboard has taste and it's not like crossing a line into some sort of actual perversion for kids to see. Like nobody wants to see a billboard with somebody blowing somebody in the middle of Times Square. Nobody wants to see a billboard of somebody fucking in Times Square, but to just have a porn billboard, that's fine as long as it's within certain parameters.
Yeah, there was no harm around them being there, sitting there reading, and it sort of eventually turned into like a joke I had like with my nephew in a weird way.
No, see, again, I guess on this question, I'm just slightly more conservative than most people. I don't believe that, man. Look,
I mean, they're gonna have to learn eventually, and I guess like in a sense, they're not harming anybody. If the guy's running,
are they not harming anybody? I don't know.
I mean, like if that guy is walking around his country and like running up to people with his dick and saying like I'm the guy who's walking around naked, but if he's just peacefully walking around, then it just turns into like this guy's walking naked.
No, because when people think like people like to pretend, there's this uber liberal mentality today where people like to pretend like, no, bro, nudity it's just natural. It's just who you are, bro. But we all know that's bullshit because when you see somebody, a girl naked, when I see a girl naked, when girls see a good-looking guy naked, there is 100%, unquestionably, without a doubt, a sexual aspect to that. Yeah. And if you're in a place where it's a public place and you got to go about your day, and then you run into something like that, you know what I'm saying? Like Look, let me put it this way.
I mean, it's both
like
sides.
People pretend. I'm sorry to cut you off,
No,
but
you're
people
right.
pretend like Chelsea Handler did this thing this week where she put up a picture of herself on Instagram, and she was topless, right? And she copied Vladimir Putin's picture. You know how Vladimir Putin, the head of Russia, does this goofy thing? He's like on a fucking horse looking like Macho Man, even though he's flabby as fuck. Yeah. And his shirt's off, right? So Chelsea Handler, said something on Instagram like anything guys can do, women can do better or some shit, and showed the picture of her topless. You see her titties hanging all out and shit, right? And sitting on the horse like that. See, now that the reaction you just had is 100% correct. That was the reaction I had because the first picture I saw was censored. I immediately went to go look to see it uncensored. Yeah. I saw it uncensored. I like what I saw. It turned me on slightly. Okay? And it's probably not because Chelsea Handler's particularly attractive, because we've known her for so long with her clothes on. Yeah. I'm like, I'd love to see her with her clothes off if she's offering, right? Yep. So, but then, like, people are trying to pretend like it is exactly equal for a guy to have his shirt off and a girl to have her shirt off. That is just objectively not true, because women, sorry, but women, that part on you is a part that men find one of the top 2 or 3 most sexually attractive parts on your body. Whereas for a guy, that's just objectively not the case. And I'm saying this in the sense that you could fucking poll it. Hey, women, what's your favorite part? What part on a guy turns you on the most? Or what part is most related to sex? We all know the fucking answers to that question. And it's not their fucking nipples. Yeah. Okay? Female nipples, female breasts, on the other hand, they are part and parcel of what turns a guy on and what is sexual. So it's such a stupid fucking false equivalence where people decide it's the exact same thing because we just want it to be the same thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's not the same thing. It does make sense to say that is more sexual when a woman does it than when a guy does it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And by the way, to be clear, I'm not saying that you make policy decisions based off of that, right? But I'm just saying there is a real perceptual difference that if you pretend like it's not there, you're being an idiot. You're purposefully being dense if you say it's the same thing with a guy with his shirt off versus a girl with her shirt off.
What if it was like a sort of hot girl that was walking around naked with a book bag on her back?
But see, that's the thing. I don't think that should be allowed legally. Would I like to see it? Of course, I'm a straight guy. I want to see as many fucking titties as humanly possible. Yeah. But is there an aspect of that? And by the way, somebody said to me on Twitter, I couldn't believe this, and I had to stop reading after I read the first line because I was like, that's stupid. Somebody said to me, I find your position on this story grossly offensive. So it's grossly offensive that I don't want kids to see a guy's wrinkly-ass balls hanging down, possibly in their fucking face, right? Yeah. It's grossly offensive that I don't want that to happen. It's not grossly offensive that this dude wants to force everybody to see his fucking dick and balls.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, it's this weird attempt to be... to try to be open-minded, but in an attempt to be open-minded, you're being closed-minded, actually, because you're forcing this on other people. And by the way, again, you want to talk about liberal...
That's a good-ass point, man.
Thank you, man. But I'm liberal to the point where if you want to walk around in a fucking bikini, go ahead. You're covered at least. Yeah. That's certainly way more sexual than if you're walking around in jeans and a shirt, right? You want to walk around in a bikini, go right the fuck ahead. I don't care. Are there certain lines, though, where it's a form of... Look, and I'll be overly kind and say, it's obviously... There's gradations of things in life. When I say it's a very mild form of pedophilia, I don't mean it's the same as somebody raping a kid or somebody touching a kid's dick or something. It's obviously nowhere near that extreme. But is it, jaywalking versus going 90 miles an hour in a 50-mile-an-hour zone? Yes, it is the equivalent of jaywalking in terms of pedophilia. And I also don't buy when people say some things are just cultural and there's no sexual aspect to it. Like supposedly in a lot of like old school massage parlors, men will walk around naked. Like, no, I do think, just like we were discussing the other day, I do think there's a sexual aspect to that. Yeah. Like when a guy's walking around with his balls out in front of all these other guys and he's, what? I'm just in the locker room. What? I'm just coming from the steam room. They always got the fucking towel over their shoulder and their dick and balls is always hanging out. And then if somebody brings it up, they'll back into a corner and say, no. It's not because I'm getting off on this. It's not because I like this. It's just because this is the culture and this is just how it is. I don't buy that, man. Sex is hardwired in our minds. It's hardwired in our brains to try to pretend like walking around butt-ass naked outside is not an imposition on other people. It is an imposition on other people. And call me whatever the fuck you want. Call me conservative. Call me a fascist. But are there some lines for social norms and cultural norms that you have to draw? I think so. Look, honestly, I'm as libertarian as it gets on this stuff, man. You know that.
Yeah.
Like, you could put in your body whatever the fuck you want to put in your body in terms of drugs. Okay, you decide when you get to die. In my book, you know. Like, you want to go peacefully because you just learned you have some terminal illness, or you want to go peacefully because you're super depressed or whatever. I want society to help you, but if it fails, you get the call, right?
Yeah.
So I'm as libertarian as it gets on all this stuff. But when people try to pretend like somebody walking around butt-ass naked is not an imposition, especially on kids.
I think you swung me.
Really?
I think so.
Well, so before, were you were on his side before? You would have said,
I was okay with
like whatever,
those people
just let
being
him
at
do
the
it.
sneaker event, like just being in the park naked, because I was like, all right, maybe it is some artsy, like natural shit.
And look, here's how you know I'm being principled, because I would love to see as many women naked as I possibly could.
Yeah.
Like, but if you tell me, hey, let this woman walk around butt ass naked in this scenario in public, I'd say no. And then somebody fired back at me and said, well, what about nudist colonies where kids are growing up? And I said, yeah, I think that's wrong. I think that's incorrect. If you're an adult and you want to do it, by all means, you're an adult. You do whatever the fuck you want with other adults that agree with you on that, you know? You're over 16, you want to do that, go right the fuck ahead.
Yeah,
but if we're talking about a 5-year-old, 4-year-old, and a 32-year-old's running around, you don't tell me it's just cultural. Don't tell me it's just cultural, because it's not just cultural.
Yeah.
There are other aspects to it. You made a decision to be butt-ass naked around kids and make them butt-ass naked around you.
Yeah.
In many cases, what does that mean? It means you want to see fucking naked kids and you want to be naked around kids.
Yeah. Yeah, you're 100% right. That reminds me of that TV show that's on like VH1 where the couples like date naked. You ever seen it or no?
Yeah, I've seen like clips of it, dating naked, but it's always censored. They never played uncensored, right?
No.
They should put that on a channel.
They should.
Yeah.
I would watch it.
And by the way, me too.
I watch it with it censored.
That's another aspect to this. Like, I'm totally in favor of, like, you know how certain times they don't allow cursing on TV and certain times they don't allow nudity, but after a certain time you allow it. That's the kind of stuff, that's the kind of regulation I'm talking about here, you know? Just the same way that if it's adults and it's consensual, fine, walk around butt-ass naked. But when there's kids in society and you're doing it, that's where I'm like, now you're being a dick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, I'm pretty sure you swung me on that.
Because I got to say, I was annoyed by...
so was there a ruling on it?
To dislike ratio. What?
Did he get in trouble? Is there a ruling on it?
Yeah, the court agreed with me.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, the court, but people apparently thought the court was wrong, or a lot of them did, because like I said, it's about 50-50, the like to dislike rate.
Yeah.
But like, here's the thing. I don't think there's any good argument on their side other than if you try to be super rigid in adhering to that libertarian philosophy.
Yeah, like
but even then, I think it's a stretch.
Yeah.
Even then, I think it's a stretch. I just think they're trying to bend the principle to fit the situation, as opposed to being more objective about it, in my opinion, and saying, "Well, let's be realistic here." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's I don't know. It was just annoying to me because I hate it when I feel like people become more doctrinaire than realistic. Where like they're trying to bend shit to fit their ideology. Like you see this all the time with actual libertarians talking about the economy. How like their whole idea that government is bad extends into areas where they pretend like areas where government isn't bad, it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they find reasons.
They find reasons like for regulation, like having the FDA make sure our food, or the EPA or whatever, having them make sure that our air isn't polluted or our food doesn't have salmonella or E. coli or whatever. They'll flip it to say like, no regulation of the food place makes more sense, of the marketplace for food makes sense. But that's obviously not true. We know that recently McDonald's, for example, was selling fucking rotten meat because they thought they could get away with it. So this idea that the government's going to regulate itself, or I'm sorry, that the market's going to regulate itself, not going to happen. You need a third party to step in and regulate, right?
Yeah.
But they'll try to twist everything. They'll say, no, over a certain amount of time, people would have realized the meat was bad, and then they would have stopped going to McDonald's, and then McDonald's would have went out of business, and then the free market would have taken care of it. And what are they leaving out in that scenario? How many people are going to fucking die from the rotten meat or get sick from the rotten meat while your punk ass waits for it to play out on its own?
Yeah.
Why not have a third party step in and go, you're breaking the law, can't do that, or we're going to shut your ass down. You know what I mean? It's when people try to bend the principle to fit the reality that I get annoyed, and I think that's what happened with the people who disagreed with me on that video.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Or I could be totally wrong and they're right, and there's some sort of argument I've never considered before that would wipe the fucking floor with me on this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm open to being wrong, man. Just that
No,
I haven't seen anything even mildly convincing on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think
like even on TYT, not to throw this guy under the bus because he's a good guy, but they had a conversation about the Chelsea Handler thing that I just spoke about. And John Idarola, one of the guys, was pretending like, what? A woman topless is the exact same as a guy topless.
And he was being serious with it?
He was being serious.
Oh.
Yeah, no, you're right, man. It's totally equal in every way. Like, that's false equivalence to the max. Am I right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's why they have magazines that are censored. I mean, like, they block the magazines. Playboy, you can't see it on the shelves. Like, it's just...
But you can on Men's Health see a guy topless. That's
topless.
not some cause for, an upheaval and some sort of protest as if that's, like, inherently wrong. Like, no... You can be in favor of equality of the sexes and equality under the law and equal pay for women and treating women fairly without pretending like a woman's tits are the exact same as a man's. You know what I mean? Like, that's a different issue, but they're trying to mesh it in with serious social justice issues like fair pay. Yeah. Which is just stupid, I think, because you're delegitimizing your real arguments when you do that. Because then you make people go, well, these people were making shit up about tits, so why am I supposed to trust them about equal pay? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you're delegitimizing yourself when you do that. Yeah. Okay. And by the way, I'm fairly convinced that I still think... I'm not swaying anybody in the audience. I still think you're going to have, like...
You swayed me.
Well,
thank you. You usually sway me on some shit.
I still think, though, that the audience is going to be like, no.
Let the man walk with his dick out.
It's his right, bro. Let his fucking dick and balls hang out. All right. Liberals, don't become a parody of yourselves, please. You know what I mean? Like, I obviously agree more with liberals and progressives than conservatives, but, like, sometimes you get a little silly. Yeah. Sometimes you make a joke out of yourself. Yeah. All right. What else do I want to talk about? Okay, here's another thing I was thinking, Cor. Oh, first, let's fucking talk about LeBron a little bit, man.
Oh, yeah.
Because I got some other stuff here, but I wanted to talk about that. This is the NBA portion of us talking, so everybody who's not interested, tune out. So we're both huge Knicks fans.
He's in every fucking commercial now, LeBron. You can't, like... I think he's got, like, Kia, he's got Beats, he's got State Farm... He's all over the place. Yeah. He's making tons and tons of money. He's got a different hairline in every commercial.
We didn't get to this till the other time. Oh. Supposedly, so Corin was telling me the other day, I never noticed this. I sent you a photo
originally.
Yeah. So LeBron had some sort of surgery. I don't know if it was hair plugs or whatever, but he got his hairline back out of the blue. He got his fucking hairline back. And it wasn't crazy.
Back. No, he got it back.
Oh, you think it was crazy?
Yeah, he had a sneaker release party.
Because what's his face from Seinfeld did the thing where he got like some hair back, but he did it smart because he pushed the hairline back so you wouldn't really notice. You know what I mean? Yeah. But you're saying LeBron didn't do that. He pushed it forward and shit too?
He pushed it forward and darkened it in. And it was like, nah, that doesn't look right.
Really?
Like, it made him look like a teenager again, which looked good for him. But the fact that he's in the spotlight so much made it like so that you were like...
But then you said it went away.
And he was practicing the next week, and it looked like it was gone.
And you think your theory is he just sweated it out?
Sweated it out, or maybe like it has to like go away first before it grows back or something like that.
I wonder what he did, man, because
I don't know.
It could be fake. It could just be totally fake, or he could have done the Bosley hair thing where they take from the back of your hair, they take roots and implant it in the top.
Because it's still not there. I mean, like it's still weak in the front in his hair now, like when they played the Knicks the other night.
Right.
But it's not filled in like it was.
He's got to pull a Kobe and a Joe Rogan and just shave it.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys he could pull off shaving his head.
Well, Kobe doesn't he still have a little?
Kobe has a little bit, like not even a one on his head.
Type of just a little tiny drop.
Joe Rogan totally shaved his once his hair, his hair went. He got plugs, right? He said, I think.
Yeah, but he also looks up to his idol Dana White and just do whatever he does.
That's a good theory. I never thought of that. And that may be true that like he's like, oh, that's the thing you do in the UFC.
Outfits, like bald head,
you said
black
when he
shirt.
sunned him that time, Rogan shut up, right?
Down. Yeah, I was at a UFC event, a championship event in Vegas. It was Weidman versus Machado, whatever that pronounce his name. And Joe Rogan looked identical to Dana White. Like he was walking around, everybody's like, "Oh, this is Dana White."
No, but what happened Joe Rogan. When he asked a question?
So after what's her name? Ronda Rousey was fighting the first match, and she is a straight beast. Right. If anybody watches UFC out there, should know this already. She was fighting this girl and literally beat her in like 0.14 seconds. So after the match, Joe Rogan right away was like, "So who's the next match? You're gonna be fighting like this or something like that?" And right away she was like, it was like a question he shouldn't have asked her, and she was just so thrown off by the question that didn't know how to answer it without like, because obviously she would beat the person,
right?
But didn't want to like throw off the excitement of the fight
right.
by answering it the wrong way. So right after she gets off the air,
Dana White
grills
the fuck out of Joe Rogan.
Rogan.
Like, how dare you ask that?
And like Dana White throws his hand up like, I'm sorry, dude.
No, you
like,
mean Rogan throws his hands up.
Rogan, I'm sorry, yeah, throws his hands up like, I'm sorry, master.
Yeah,
like,
man, that's crazy.
So like, that's just like, he's like his puppet. So I wouldn't be surprised if he saw him with his shaven head and shaved his head.
Yeah.
But
He's
then
a
I
cool guy,
texted,
though. I'm trying to get on the show.
When the LeBron thing happened and asked you if you were losing your hair, would you just automatically go for like the hair plugs?
Yeah, well, I would do something
before you shaved your head.
Step 1, Propecia.
What's that?
Propecia is a pill that you take that it doesn't regrow hair, but it basically stops hair loss, and it's fairly successful.
Okay,
like 70 to 80% success rate. One of my buddies takes it. I won't say his name on here. He probably wouldn't want me to.
Okay.
So one of my buddies takes it. He said it works perfectly. A lot of men take it. Yeah.
See,
that's step 1,
I
think.
This is a weird thing for me because this is like to that when somebody heals each other with just like praying and shit like that. I sort of come to the sense when you start taking something for a reason, you'll start fucking it up even more.
I disagree with that
completely.
Does that make sense? No, not at all. Because that goes against all of modern medicine, period.
No, modern medicine, like Tylenol, like regular shit with acne, that shit probably works. But when it comes to like weird shit like hair and like
you're crazy,
stuff,
man.
I'm like,
crazy.
if my hair is naturally supposed to be like going away and I start taking some like hair regrowth shit for some weird reason, I feel like it'll make it grow less even more.
You're fucking crazy, bro. You got to listen to the scientists, man.
That's just the weirdness in me with that.
Yeah, no,
shit.
you know, look, this is what I say about issues like that. You know what my opinion is?
What?
I call it copy and paste. Why?
So,
because I just, whatever the researchers, whatever the scientists say, fucking copy, paste, that's what I believe. Want to know why? I don't have fucking degrees in that shit.
True.
I'm an idiot. I have no idea what I'm talking about, no idea what I'm saying. So if some researcher comes out and there's some fucking scholarly article written in the New England Journal of Medicine about how they just cured X, Y, or Z, and here's how they did it, I go, oh, okay, copy and paste. I agree with this guy. You know what I mean?
I like that.
I just follow the experts on the science. But step 1 is Propecia. Step 2 is, if that doesn't work, step 2 is, I would have to look at the technology at the time, but whatever either the best fake hair plugs are or Bosley. But I think I prefer the fake ones more, believe it or not, because the other ones, they have to take the shit from the back of your head, and like for a year, you don't have fucking hair in the back of your head, and they never make it fill in enough up top. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I actually think Bosley is worse.
Cable guy where he's like hair plugs.
Basically, yes. So I would probably go with the fake ones. You know what I mean? But look, here's the thing. When I say that, people are always like, oh, that's stupid. Just shave your head. But if I look like a cancer patient if I do that. There's no question about it. I just don't have the head for it. I'm too much of like a pasty white guy. But when I have hair, I'm a fine looking guy. I'm a decent looking guy. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I would just hope that at the time fake hair plugs would have gotten to a point where they're super good looking, you know what I mean? Where they're super realistic. And I think that's going to happen. I mean, for fuck's sake, if we can send somebody to the fucking moon, if I could pick up my cell phone and talk to somebody in Germany right now, like what? You can't find a way to make my hair look like it's actually hair? It just seems it's so simple. It just seems like there's such a...
Would you throw, so say none of that worked. Was step 3, would you wear a wig?
I don't know,
Or would you go bald? A wig is so tough because if someone ever found that
a wig or toupee
out,
is like super fucking weary.
Like if they had like a spiked hair wig.
No, I think at that point I'd have to shave my head.
Yeah,
I couldn't do toupee or wig. I just couldn't do it. Yeah, because toupee or wig, they're too obvious. Yeah, you know what I mean.
And if it gets thrown off partially in one direction and you don't know, and you're like toupee is chilling to the side,
and it just you can't do it. You can't do it. And look, it's not like I'm not in favor of some sort of artificial stuff. I'm fine with it, you know, but there are certain lines that you just can't cross because you look silly. Yeah. You know? Like, everybody already knows I dye my hair. I've been dyeing my hair for years. Since I started going gray, not even really gray. I started going white at like age 18 or 19, you know? So at age like 20, I was like, fuck it, I'll just dye
But your dad had like a full set of hair, blonde hair,
Crazy,
right?
Man. Yeah, my dad, he never really, I mean, his hair thinned out like most men do when they get older, but he never lost it. Like, he never went bald. Yeah. He had to dye it at a certain point, but his hair actually kept its color until he was like 40.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy. See, my mother had gone white very early.
Uh-huh.
So whatever the fuck she had, I started going white at like 18 or 19.
Yeah, well, they say I think your hairlines come from your grandmother or something, right?
I don't know if that's true, though. It might be a myth.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it might be true. I really don't know. I don't know what the actual science on that is.
Yeah.
But yeah, so a lot of people are surprised when I tell them that. But I said, look, that's why I started dyeing my hair young, because then there's no awkward transition phase where it's like one day it's that color, the next day it's that color.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know? But it is annoying because like once every month and a half or 2 months, I gotta fucking, put in some Just for Men gel and shit. My parents always tell, or my mom always tells me, and some girlfriends in the past have told me too, like, just let it go. Why? Like, what? Just let it. It looks distinguished if you let it go gray. And I'm like, yeah, I'm like, okay, wait, stop. Maybe when I'm 42, it would look distinguished. But when you're 26 years old and you got fucking gray hair, you look like a 26-year-old who's aging way too fucking fast. You know what I mean?
Benjamin Button. It only works, I think, with like George Clooney.
That's what I'm saying. But that's their argument. Their argument is Anderson Cooper, George Clooney. I'm like, but they're fucking 40s and 50s and shit like that. I mean, and at that time, maybe I'll do it because I'll just get lazy. You know what I mean? Or I might do the Mitt Romney style where you like leave the sides white, but then you know what I'm saying?
I'm
like,
not a fan of that one.
You're not a fan of that? It depends. You got to do it right. You got to do it so it looks somewhat convincing.
Yeah, if you pulled it off like proportionally perfect, it'd be all right.
Right. So the other thing about LeBron, man, going back to LeBron.
Yeah.
This dude, he fixes economies.
Crazy.
And when I say, I'm not like being hyperbolic, he fixes economies.
Crazy.
Like, I'm going to go from here to here. Okay, boom, that place has X amount number more jobs, so much more economic development over there,
It's
investments,
absurd.
yada, yada.
I was in Miami with my brother, I think, when he made the decision to go to Cleveland. And my brother literally said to me, he could have pointed to anywhere on the map and just revitalize that whole place.
That's right.
Because ESPN's got to go there.
That's right.
TV networks have to go there. Like everything, he could have picked anywhere. He could have said, I want to play basketball in North Korea. And it's just like ESPN has to build a whole studio and figure out ways to like work out contracts with Kim Jong-un. But it's fascinating that like he can like make such a depressing place like Cleveland be such a like haven right now.
Yeah,
and
I
just
know.
like their downtown scene is revised. Restaurants are back.
Yeah.
And Stephen A. Smith keeps it so real because every time he goes to Cleveland, he's just like, he's so pissed off because it's just like, I'd rather be in South Beach right now than be in Cleveland right now.
By the way, all those Heat fans, where are they now?
Oh.
All the Heat fans are probably done, donezo. They're like, who the fuck are they going to go cheer for now?
Dwayne
Yay,
Wade's
Birdman.
Bad Yeah.
Like,
They were
it's not
fake
the same,
fans,
man.
so- yeah, but
they were fake fans to begin with, of course. But that was economic development down there. Now it's moving to Cleveland. Look, you know how people always talk about when it comes to sports, like they always root for the underdog?
Mm-hmm.
That's the one area where I don't root for the underdog. I actually root for the guy on top because I like to see history.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to see domination. So MJ...
So you're okay with him moving around from place to place to just try and win?
Oh, you're talking the original move when they all got together, the big three?
The fact that he moved to the Heat to try and win, and now that the Heat got old, he was like, all right, I'm going to go play with these young guys.
I didn't like it at the time, but that's because it takes me a while to catch on to the greats, but once they gain my respect, then I respect the fuck out of them. Like, I was not a big Tiger fan during even when he won his Grand Slam, his Tiger Slam in 2001. By like 2003, I was like, okay, I have to root for this guy now because he's making fucking history, and I want to be able to say I was alive when I had the best golfer that ever lived on the planet making history. By the same token, Kobe Bryant chasing MJ, and for a while it was like he might even surpass MJ. Doesn't look like he's going to surpass him now. If anything, he might tie him maybe if there's some moves in the next 2 or 3 seasons. But like
so you just
at a certain
history.
point, I was like, well, now I have to root for Kobe because I want to be able to say I was around when we had this absolute domination. And to a certain extent, we were around when MJ did it, but not really. We were a little too young. You know what I mean? So like Kobe, LeBron too, same thing. By the way, don't get me wrong. It's still for sure that I'm a Knicks fan above all else, just because I don't know, the team is always, I just love it. But other than that, I like to see, I'm not one of those people who's like, let's see the underdog win. I'm actually like, no, I want to see the fucking history. I want to see the domination. I want to see the Roman Empire version of basketball or whatever. You know, so.
And it's fun to root for those people too. I mean, it's fun to root for something that's good rather than just be a hater and be like, nah, fuck him.
And I
don't wanna root for him.
I also have a theory that people will no doubt widely mock, but I believe this to my core.
What's that?
I think LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Tiger Woods, Jack Nicklaus, you named the greats in all sports all time, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think they hold the key to happiness.
Nah.
I think they do.
I don't think so.
All right, so this is going to be an interesting conversation then. Go ahead. You can lay out your case.
I don't think they're as happy as we think they are because, I mean, they're always trying to be better, right? which is not... I don't know. I don't think LeBron's happy.
Hilarious, because that's the exact reason why I think they're so happy.
Really?
It's because, look, when you wake... Like, I remember in college and in high school or whatever, when I would wake up in the morning and I didn't really have anything to look forward to, you were just existing. Like, you were just surviving, existing, going through day to day and just doing whatever, eating some stuff, going out every once in a while. You're just existing. But when you have, I don't give a fuck what it is, by the way, either. This isn't just limited to sports. This is in everything in life, whether it's a certain hobby that you love. You could be a fucking Magic the Gathering card player and have this same mentality. But if you wake up and you're just fucking so passionate about getting better at something and you spend every waking second of every waking day focusing and buckling down and following a diet regimen and following a strict schedule and practicing X number of hours a day, knowing you're practicing more than everybody else, knowing you're getting better, all this stuff. I think that is happiness. The whole process of doing that, like if it's the middle of the day and you're Kobe Bryant and you're in the gym working like crazy, taking jumpers, fucking going back to the 3-point line, knocking them down, getting better and better. When you leave the gym that night, you know there's more work to do the next day, but you're at peace because you're following your path and you know
but you're never satisfied.
But that's the thing. The whole idea of you could always get better, which is a Tiger Woods quote, by the way. Like after this tournament, he like destroyed the field in a tournament, and then he was going to go to the practice range, and a reporter asked him like, "Why are you you just won by like 8 shots? What are you doing? Why would you do that?"
Yeah.
And he said, "You could always become better." But there's this inner like peace and tranquility with that, where you know if you're outworking people and if you're focusing more and if you're, you know, the old goofy saying, it's about life is about the path, not the destination, or it's about the journey, not the destination. I think that's true. And with guys like, you know, Tiger, Kobe, whatever, like when they're 80 years old, you can see now with Jack Nicklaus right now, they always seem the most at peace over everybody else because they know every second of their life when they were focused on their thing, they know that every second meant something. It wasn't wasted. There was an actual meaning there behind it.
I guess so. I think they have to come, I think they, within themselves, have to come to a realization that, like, there is a certain point. Like, if you win a championship, you got to embrace that moment.
Of course. And I think they do that.
Yeah.
There's a certain grace period after said accomplishment where it's like, yes, I did it. But then you eventually it's right back to the drawing board and you're equal with everybody else. And then you got to try to bust ass again.
But that brings me to like, you're never satisfied because until I guess maybe you retire, because there was, I'm a big Florida Gators fan and Urban Meyer was the coach. And there was a quote from him that said like after they won their national championship in like 2009 or something, it was like supposed to be the happiest time of his life. But he said he couldn't even celebrate the moment because right after they won, he was in his office on the phone recruiting for next season. He was just never satisfied with victory because it was always what's next. I got to win the next championship now.
See, here's the thing though. That's life. Like there's never, but I think it's a fallacy when people think that there's ever a destination. Like you're never going to wake up.
No, that's what I'm saying. They have to come to the realization that it's just like you got to keep, it's just, there is no end to it. You know?
But I also think you can briefly relish in your accomplishments and your achievements. Like after Rory McIlroy won the British Open, like he spent a good 2 or 3 days or a week or whatever, just cutting loose, doing whatever. Then it was right back to the drawing board. But I think there's a beauty in that because I think people oftentimes they buy into this fallacy that anybody ever anywhere wakes up and goes, I made it in every aspect of my life and I'm perfectly happy 100%. Mm-hmm. That's kind of like, you know what that is? That's kind of like the Buddhist philosophy where they say you should detach yourself from all passions, from all external wants, from all materialism. That's like the Buddhist philosophy. Just be happy inside yourself, like with everything you have.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I think they're full of shit because I don't think anybody's happy like that. I don't think you could ever detach yourself fully from all external passions and wants and materialism and all that stuff and be totally happy. I think, like anybody else, they're going to get hungry, they're going to get horny, they're going to want to play a game, they're going to want to do this, and they could try to lie to themselves and pretend like, no, I got this, bro. I'm just going to sit here and meditate forever, and I'm just going to be perfectly happy. But I look at that person, I call bullshit on them. I say, you're fucking full of shit. And meanwhile, if you look at somebody like Kobe, Tiger, they're representing a true religion, a true happiness, because you're embodying passion, you're embodying the human will, human spirit, human force. My whole life theory is based on this. I call it passionism.
Yeah.
It's this goofy theory I got. I'm working on a book eventually about it. Mm-hmm. But to me, that's almost true religion. Obviously, I don't believe in religion, so I'm using that word more metaphorically.
Yeah.
But it's like understanding that the here and the now and the struggle and the hard work to get to the fake end goal, that's where it's really at. You know what I mean? Like, there are times when I've been playing golf. For people who don't know, I wanted to be a pro golfer at one point, and I cared a lot. I'm a good player, but, you know, obviously I think I'm terrible, and I am terrible compared to real pros.
Nah,
and
you're pretty good.
Well, compared to them, I fucking suck nutsacks.
Yeah.
But, like, so my best round ever was 67, I believe. It's at a place in Eastchester, New York, called Lake Isle. Short course. It's a par 70, but I played well, shot 67. And I realized, like, in the middle of that round, when I'm playing well, I'm like, oh, this is where the happiness is. Like, I'm grinding out around, playing golf, hitting the ball well, chipping and putting and all this stuff, focus like a motherfucker, and it hit me in the middle of the round. Oh, this is the height of life right now, what I'm doing now. There's no, like, people like to think of life like work, retirement day, then in retirement you get to lay on a beach in fucking Cabo and you're happy. But a lot of people laying on the fucking beaches in Cabo are like, fuck, I want to go do something that means something. I want to go, you know, build something or do, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Do something like that. Mm-hmm. And they've bought into this fake thing of, that's the way life works. Like, you get to the end and then boom, you're all set. Mm-hmm. No, it's in the process. It's in the struggling. It's in that.
That's all the excitement.
That's what it is. And it's a matter of people finding that thing that they love enough where, you know, they can embrace that. Mm-hmm. And look, honestly, I got to be honest, with some people, it's a hobby. It's something that their hobby is. Because, look, I'm not naive. I know most people end up doing shit for a living that they don't love, and they don't want to feel like, you know, it's like they're wasting their time there. They know deep down they're wasting their time there. But that's another reason why I'm in favor of giving people a lot of time off. A 4-day work week to me should be the regular, because I think you should have 3 days of the week spending time with family, loved ones, and focusing on whatever your passion is, whatever your hobby is, whatever your love is. Mm-hmm. But that's where it's at. It's in the hobbies. It's in those passions that people actually find meaning and people actually find happiness. That's the height of humanity, in my opinion.
Yeah. So, I mean, to that point, it's a matter of if the athlete has come to that realization that this is when I'm supposed to be my happiest, is when, like, you know, we're struggling or when we're doing well. It's just taking in that moment of playing.
Well, maybe I overstated that too, because I do believe in the thing that you described where, for the example you gave, it was obviously a little different. It was college, right? But for NBA, you get the off season, you win the championship. You can take a good, you know,
some time off,
week, 2 weeks or whatever. Yeah. I mean, look, but
I'm sure Kobe, right after he wins the championship, is ready to go back in the gym the next day and start shooting again.
But see, that's why him and Tiger are the perfect examples, because it's this even shorter moment of, oh my God, this is great, where they're standing up with their hands up and shit. Tiger after a major, Kobe after he wins a championship, hands up, like, ah! Yeah. And then, like, 2 days later, these motherfuckers are back doing it. Or in the case of Tiger, after he won one tournament, that same day he's doing it.
Yeah.
Those are the people that are, I think, the most happy, because I think they've most embraced life. Like, because if you really think about what is golf, it's a stupid fucking thing where you hit a little ball around a field, and then you get some accolades for it because it's somewhat popular. Like, in the grand scheme of things, it's irrelevant, but it's relevant to him. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like there's a weird objective meaning in life to strong subjective meaning. You know what I mean? Like, there's no objective reason why we're here, or if there is, we don't fucking know what it is. Nobody does. They're lying to you if they tell you they do. But my contention is, well, since that's likely the case, the default position where there probably is no objective meaning to life, well then, why not find incredible meaning in the subjective things? Like Tiger Woods hitting a little ball around a fucking field. He found meaning. He found happiness. Kobe Bryant playing basketball. He found meaning. He found happiness. I love how this story started out with LeBron. Now I keep giving the Kobe example. They just fill LeBron in there too.
Yeah, LeBron. Kobe's got more championships. So he's a better example.
And that's, by the way, you think LeBron will eventually have more?
No, I don't.
You don't think so?
No.
Oh, that's interesting.
I mean, LeBron's a great player. I don't think he's as clutch as Kobe is. I don't think he's got that killer instinct as that Kobe had. And I think players are better now. Teams are better now. Managements are better now. NBA's not as rigged as it used to be.
How do you think the Cavaliers are going to do this season?
They'll be all right. I think, unbiasedly saying this, I think it's going to be Cavs-Knicks Eastern Conference Championship.
I disagree with that, man. I think the Knicks are
going
to
be a lot better than people think.
You think so? I think the Knicks are going to be, you guys hear me now, quote me later, 7 seed or 8 seed. I think they're going to finish the season 2 games above 500.
I think it's all lining up. Rose, I mean, he's got a quick ankle injury he'll get back from. But Paul George out for the season. Indiana, that's huge. Wizards, Bradley Beal's out. Charlotte's still like up and coming. Atlanta always sucks.
Dude, you know who shits on the Knicks nonstop?
I know who you're going to say.
Say it.
Charles Barkley.
That's right. I've never seen anybody who hates the Knicks more than Charles Barkley.
But it's weird because he really likes the Knicks. It's just he can't say anything good about them because there's nothing good to say about them.
Well, you obviously disagree with that, though, because you think they're going to make it to the fucking...
Oh, yeah, no, this year. And he ate his own words this past... when they played. Thursday?
The Cavs, man.
Or whenever they played.
Yeah, when they beat the Cavs.
Yeah.
That was huge.
He was commentating on the game at the beginning of the game. He's like...
There's no chance to win this.
Nothing.
And then they fucking win.
They win the game.
Melo hits a B shot over
That's what I'm saying. And then you
LeBron.
want to give us love?
Yeah, people...
So it's like he could say all this shit in the past because, yeah, rightfully so, they've sucked. But now you can't say it anymore.
I mean, yeah,
all right.
we shouldn't even really be too butthurt over Charles Barkley saying that because I remember last year they did this compilation of some of his predictions. Oh. Everyone dead fucking wrong, man.
I hate analysts because they're always fucking wrong. And
I do love Charles, though. I do. I love him because he's honest.
Yeah. No. The TNT,
he's wrong a lot, but he's honest.
TNT on NBA set, we know this.
It's my favorite show ever. Shaq,
possibly
Kenny.
Hands down best show on TV.
I agree, man. There's
Shaq
so much.
Fool,
exactly.
Underdog, put that on a T-shirt.
There's so much like Secular Talk, I think. There's so much like TYT because they're just having a fucking conversation. They're just talking,
real.
man. That's all they're doing.
Real. And they're just funny. They work so well together. And then they throw in Chris Webber once in a while.
Yeah,
and he's funny
good.
too. And Ernie just like segments everything so well. That show's awesome. But what the hell were we talking about right before that?
LeBron?
No.
LeBron being a beast? Chuck being a dick about the Knicks?
Yeah, whatever.
That's all right. Whatever. It doesn't matter. So let me give you... by the way, what time I know you got to go... You're working at the Knicks tonight. 5? You got to be there? Okay, it's 2 right now, so we'll do a little bit more. I'm going to leave this... I'm going to ask you. Either we have a discussion about... Because I took out a paragraph from an article here that I wanted to discuss to you. Either... We're going to talk about the insane shit that rich people buy. I have some facts here on that. And I have the amount of money the Koch brothers makes broken down into specifics, where I can give you the amount per hour, et cetera, et cetera. Either that, and then we'll talk about what's the perfect amount of money to make per year, our opinion on that. Or I can tell you the bachelor party, what happened at Will's bachelor party in terms of fishing and what happened at the wedding. The stories, I'll tell you right now up front, the stories are mediocre. Like, they're interesting, but they're mediocre. You know what I mean?
I sort of want to talk about stuff that rich people will buy.
Okay, so then we'll do that because I have some stuff jotted down here. So first of all, this was an article a while back, I believe in Salon. Salon is not a place that I use a lot because sometimes I think they're a little silly with their social...
What is it, a website?
Yes, with their social justice commentary, but whenever they talk about economics, they're usually spot on. Whenever they talk about foreign policy, they're usually spot on. Mm-hmm. They're certainly right with their vitriolic hatred of Republicans that I share. But this article was just about specific stuff that rich people buy, insane shit that rich people buy. Mm-hmm. And then I'll also give you, from Addicting Info, the Coke article. I'll break that down for you of how much they actually make.
And I'm an idiot, first off, because I thought the Koch brothers were like Coca-Cola.
No, but whoever came up with Coca-Cola is probably rich as fuck, too. So, insane shit that the rich buy. First of all, a milkshake. Let me ask you. Let's play a game here. I'm going to ask you, how much do you think they spent? How much?
Oh, I know you did a segment on this a while back.
I did a while
right?
back. Both of these I did, but I wanted to talk to you about them because I wanted to get into the question of what's the perfect amount of money to make every year. But so take a guess. How much you think a rich person milkshake would cost? One of the most expensive milkshakes in the world. And this is real, by everybody. This is real. This isn't like some made up shit.
$2,000.
Actually, less. Interesting. $500.
Oh shit!
But I probably would have
That
guessed higher
sounds like
too,
a
though.
steal for $500.
No, because you got to think about this through the lens of being anybody. Like, who would really pay $500 for a milkshake?
Yeah.
A fucking idiot would.
Yeah.
You know.
And I
like,
work at an ice cream store, so I
Right.
know what a milkshake.
$500 for a milkshake.
What the hell does it say? What that consists of? Like
It did, but I didn't jot that part down. One of these I have some details jotted down, which is the next one. Burger.
a hamburger?
The most expensive burger in the world that rich people buy.
See, that I could see as expensive because there's a lot of fancy restaurants and they could finagle it however they want. I gotta go lower now. Maybe $1,500.
$5,000.
Oh, shit, man, I'm all over the map now.
$5,000 burger.
Does that
And
come
it
with
has-
French fries or sweet potato
Actually,
fries?
I actually don't know if it comes with French fries. You know what it does come with?
What?
Truffle sauce. They put like what? By the way, I still to this day I've never cared enough to Google truffle and read exactly what it is. Is it just like a chocolate thing?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh god, we're such idiots.
I don't know
Somebody's
what
still
truffle
no,
fuck
bro,
is."
it's not fucking chocolate. Somebody was mad right now.
It's marshmallow.
I really have no idea, and I got my computer right in front of me. I'm too lazy to fucking Google it. I don't give a shit, but it has truffle sauce on it. All right, now ready? I'm gonna blow your socks off even more here. The most expensive truffle in the world. How much do you think that is?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't even know exactly what it
is.
is. I'm just going to guess it's something like chocolate.
Yeah, so it's got to be a dessert. What most expensive truffle is?
Yeah.
$3,000.
$95,000. See, maybe a truffle is actually a speedboat. Who knows what the fuck? Let me look this shit up.
See, I'm thinking truffle is like those, those little chocolate candies that come in like that gold
That's what
wrapper.
I think too, yes.
It's like those two chocolates and there's like a crunchy nut inside of it.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. A truffle is the fruiting body. I don't even know what that means.
It's a fruit something.
A truffle is the fruit. This is Wikipedia, by the way, ever so accurate. And this one actually is accurate because it says from Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia, which is just as good as any other encyclopedia. It's only bullshit when there's warnings on top about how it might be bullshit. So it says a truffle is the fruiting body of a subterranean ascomycete. What the fuck? Fungus.
There's the word
Predominantly-
fungus is in it, and you're paying $95,000.
Oh, that's such a good
God
point, man.
bless you.
What the fuck is wrong with you? Predominantly one of the many species of the genus tuber. Some of the truffle species are highly prized as food. French gourmand Jean Antoinette Brilliant
Now we're getting into the
Savarin
$95,000 worth. If you can't
truffles, the
pronounce
diamond
words.
of the kitchen. That's what they refer to this as.
Oh, damn.
To me, it looks like dried animal shit.
That looks like fucking dog shit. Do yourself a favor and Wikipedia truffle and look at the
And see if you could actually describe
top photo.
what the fuck this is.
White truffle looks like something that is in my toilet earlier.
I'm just gonna go with my original assumption and assume it's something like chocolate. $95,000. Okay. Next, the most expensive bottle of wine.
Oh, that's got to be crazy expensive. I would go maybe $500,000, $500,000.
$117,000.
Oh, what? I would think there'd be like an aged bottle from like 1876.
Yeah,
It's got to be like $1 million.
I think you're right. I don't know if this is the most expensive because the article just listed expensive shit the rich buy.
Oh yeah.
So there might be one more expensive out there, but 170.
There's got to be a bottle from like.
But stop and think about that. Who would spend that money on wine?
Someone.
You're gonna drink it and piss it out.
That one I could see someone paying a lot of money for.
Fucking idiots.
I know that I agree with, but I could sort of make an argument for someone drinking an expensive ass bottle of wine.
Now the worst of all, the most expensive painting ever sold.
Oh.
When I tell you this, man, holy shit.
$27 million.
$142 million for a motherfucking painting.
That's
Matter of
absurd.
fact, I'm going to show you this painting right now.
Well, they had that special on 60 Minutes of like a guy who was really good at making counterfeit like artwork, and it was just fascinating. Like people spend an amount of money, like people just pay money for such obscure shit that like they don't even know if it's real or not.
See,
or,
this
like,
thing, this fucking person, man, whoever bought this is the biggest idiot on the planet. That's the $142 million painting. That's $142 million.
So it's like a 3-piece set?
Yeah, a 3-piece set with, I don't even know what that is, a guy sitting down on something. It looks like it's not even fucking finished. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen anybody ever fucking make, and somebody sold this for $142 million fucking dollars.
Yeah, that's
and then there'll
crazy.
be some morons out there that are like, oh no, you do not understand the way that the fine artwork works.
Well, I'm into sports memorabilia, and people pay fucking shit ton of money for like a baseball or something, which in a way is a lot worse than that.
No, baseball held by somebody famous, right?
Yeah, it would be like, I mean, like when Mark McGwire hit his home run, they sold it for like a couple $1 million, and then
million is ridiculous. Couple of million is ridiculous. But I could understand
I don't know if
somebody's
it was a couple million actually.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say I can understand somebody's paying like $50,000 for that.
Yeah,
I can.
no, it was more.
Because that's real. That actually, Mark McGwire actually hit that out of the fucking park
That's
to
true.
actually make fucking history, and there's something there. This is some jack off who sat there and I'm gonna paint a picture of a man sitting down and not even fucking finish it and make $142 million off it.
Well, that's like me or you drawing something right now, and then it's just like getting dug into the ground, and then like 700 million years later, they find it. But little do they know we were just two jerk-offs.
No, but even that's cooler. See, no, that's crazy. Because even that's cooler to me. Because at least there's some history. We found it is 700 million years old or however fucking long in our imaginary scenario.
Yeah,
and that's actually cooler. It's an artifact. It's old school. There might be something to it. But this is like if something's older and hey, we found this underground, it was from the Roman days of the Roman Empire, yada yada. It's like, oh, that's actually pretty fucking cool. But this is just some dude who fucking made a fucking painting, $142 million. Oh my god, it's so stupid. Oh
no,
my
but
god,
it was
it's so
probably
stupid.
painted like in like 1640 something.
There's a girl who I love, Annette. She's drawn pictures for Secular Talk. She's done my portrait. She's
cool.
awesome. She's awesome. She's drawn pictures of Anna on TYT as well. Just awesome girl. Does a great job with these paintings, right? Mm-hmm. And I think she is better than these. Like, this is just, look, don't get me wrong. Do I like art? Can I appreciate art? Absolutely. Have I seen paintings and gone, I would like to have that hung in my presence? Yes, absolutely. There are things I like. Mm-hmm. But the idea that because of somebody's name, because of somebody's reputation, for something that's not objectively measurable, art is not objectively measurable. For sports, hey, what was this? How many points did the Cavs score? 82. How many points did the fucking Wizards score? 72. Okay, Cavs won. Boom, it's objective, it's measurable, it's reality.
Yeah.
You can actually prove who's better than who.
Yeah.
Art, it's all opinion. And I'm not going to buy into, like, maybe there's some aspect of opinion in art that there's some level of objectivity to it. Mm-hmm. Like, something can be objectively better and, you know, that ocean looks more like an ocean and that house looks more like a house and this guy's not as good at it, right? So there's some aspect that's objective, but overall, by and large, art is wildly subjective and up to people's tastes, which is why there's some, like, oil paintings can be about something specific or a portrait and it's beautiful and some people like that. Other people like modern art where there's a fucking can of tomato soup with the white background or there's, you know, somebody throws paint at a fucking canvas and says, I'm going to sell those for $300,000 or whatever. Mm-hmm. So it's wildly subjective. So for somebody to buy into this facade and spend $142 million on a painting, when let's all be honest, you can get one that's just as pleasing aesthetically for, you know, $1,000, which I still think is expensive for a piece of art. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, I just think that it's the snob effect is what it is. That's what I'm trying to get at. It's a long way of describing the snob effect. Yeah. It's all about class. It's all about the fact that they did pay so much for it, and then they're going to show off based on how expensive it is. Nobody's buying a $142 million painting and then sitting down and not telling people how much it costs.
You're so right.
This jackass is telling his Wall Street buddies, I spent $142 million on this.
You're so right. And my girlfriend just told me that she went to someone's house and the lady, like, the painting she was like was so ugly, but the lady made it a point to be like, you know, funny story about this painting. We were in the art store and the person didn't think we could pay the money for it. So it turns out we paid the 18, whatever. So it's like they had
vomit.
to like secretly tell you the price without saying how much the price of the painting was, you know? Like,
you know what? See, this is the thing though. People think, like, really stupid upper class people think that's peacocking, right? It's like, look at my feathers, I'm so special. Yeah. They think that gives them status and appeal, and that really we all look at them like, oh, we want to be like you. But you're right. The majority of people now, because we have the internet, we're done with people's bullshit, we have science. Now we look at people like that and we go, oh, you are extra stupid. Yes. Like, I look at somebody who's poor, who doesn't have a job, who might even perhaps be unintelligent. Yeah. So I look at that person with way more respect than I look at this fucking dickhead who spent $142 million on a painting that you could have gotten a knockoff version for whatever, $700.
If you come to my apartment, I literally have no artwork at all, but I have one piece of thing. I have one photo hanging over my couch, and it's one of those things that you go to like the fucking fairs, and they do those cartoon like figures of you. And it's on my wall, slanted with a piece of tape, and it sort of looks gangster because it's been there for like, I've been in my apartment for like 7 months now.
Right.
It's right in the middle of my wall, and it's just one piece of tape holding it up. It was like a piece of tape I found on the ground. It wasn't even like a piece of tape I stitched off. But it looks like I look at it all the time. I'm like,
it's worth more.
Yeah.
It's worth more than any
like me paying
yuppie piece of art.
Exactly.
Yeah, at some gallery.
My girlfriend's like, I want a picture of the Eiffel Tower right here. Of like, I'm like, no, fuck that. Like, this is cool because we were there when the lady drew this shit of us,
and it's of you.
It's of us.
Yeah, and look,
it's not in a frame. It's just a fucking folded up piece of paper. It looks cool.
The way that they build the auras of different artists too is 100% bullshit. I heard a story where like somebody was trying to become an artist and they basically gave away at an art event. They gave away this person's painting and said, well, this is a $10,000 piece that we're just going to gift you because you bought this other piece of artwork, and this is an original whatever, make up a name, right?
Yeah.
And then from then on out, it was word of mouth. So this person said, and I got an extra $10,000 original piece from blah, blah, blah. And then all the friends go, oh, is Bloody Blah a good artist? And then, oh, well, yes, he is. They give me an original $10,000 piece.
They just put
and then like
up a price.
A year later, months later, you have an art event for that artist and say, well, remember that $10,000 piece we gave you? That guy's having an event, big event. There's going to be great pieces there that are inexpensive. And then they get there and the inexpensive pieces are like $32,000. Yep. They go, well, I must get it because it's an original blah, blah. This is how it works. It's all snob effect. It's all like the marketplace in many respects.
And it's what people pay for it. Like,
see, that's the thing. The marketplace in many respects is total bullshit.
Yeah.
This is why I think sometimes libertarians are silly because they act like something's 100% actual value is just its market value. To which I respond, absolutely not.
Look at the Clippers. The Forbes had them estimated as like $600 million. They sold for $2 billion. You know, it's just like what you think something is worth is not really worth that.
Exactly. Because look, like by the same token, somebody who's a minimum wage worker. Minimum wage workers, on average, they produce over $20 an hour, about $22 an hour in goods and productivity and services. That's what they produce. But they're paid $7.25.
Yeah.
What the libertarians say and what a lot of snobby fucks say is, no, there only was $7.25 because we paid them $7.25. But it's like, no, you fucking dick weasel. They're worth more. You're just artificially paying them lower. By the same token, oh, this painting's $140, blah, 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 blah. But how much? Okay, so how much did the canvas cost? How much did the paint cost? How much per hour of the guy actually making it? What's it actually worth?
$4.67.
It's actually worth maybe $1,217, right?
If that.
But it's $142 million.
This is from Bull's meat.
Constable yada yada. I wanted to buy it, please. Okay. So we'll finish up with this. I'll give you the Coke thing, and then we'll wrap up on this.
Yeah.
So this is a segment from an article on Addicting Info. This is just how much the Koch brothers make. They're worth about $34 billion each. In the year this article was written, a few years ago, I think 2 years ago, they made $9 billion each that year. Okay, yeah, you ready? Listen to this. That noise is going to come a lot more in a second. Quote, if we do the math, the hardworking Charles and the hardworking David, that's sarcastic, each earned a little more than $1 million every hour.
Oh my God.
Even while sleeping.
Oy.
To be exact, they were richer by $1,024,590 every time the big cuckoo clock in the hall struck off an hour. If David stepped into the shower for 10 minutes, he exited smelling fresher and richer by almost $171,000.
That's crazy.
If he stopped to floss his teeth for 60 seconds, he was $17,706 richer by the time he was done. Just flossing his teeth. Okay, in each minute, they made $17,706.
Wow.
They say if Charles spent 3.5 hours on a Sunday afternoon eating chips and dip and watching the Kansas City Chiefs play the San Diego Chargers, by the time he reached the bottom of the bowl, he would be $3,586,065 richer. In the time he spent on the toilet at halftime, let's say 1 minute 45 seconds, he made $29,884.
Jeez.
So,
were the Koch brothers involved in oil, or
their father? See, this is the thing. Their father did everything. They just inherited everything. Their father was key in coming up with the most technological and newest way to refine oil. So he was involved. And they also, by the way, did business with Stalin, and they did business with, brutal leaders all around the world.
Really?
But it was the father who did everything, and they were involved in oil refining, and now they basically, these guys are fucking trust fund babies, welfare cases from their dads, and they buy our political system and they do all this grotesque shit. So, first of all, first conclusion from this is if you're not in favor of a progressive tax system, if you're not in favor of taxing the rich, you're a child. Like you're silly. Like people who we should have a flat tax of like 10%, bro. No. Really? So somebody who makes $20,000 a year and works 9 to 5 or 6 days a week, that person should pay 10%, and the guy who makes $1 million an hour should pay 10%. That's my absurd. Ball sack. Yeah. Are you kidding me? The person who makes $9 billion a year. I'm sorry, but in my opinion, maybe Tom Hartman is right. Tom Hartman has this idea that everything you make over $1 billion a year should be taxed at 100%. So you can top out at $1 billion a year, you know?
Yeah.
And some people, I don't like that because, you're limiting people, yada, yada. Motherfucker, if you can't live on $1 billion a year, you're 8 times worse than Muammar Gaddafi, the fucking clown of a dictator who was ridiculous. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
$1 billion a year. So that's the thing. I mean, thing number one to take away from this is you have to be in favor of a progressive tax system. You have to tax the rich more. And honestly, look, if you make $1 million a year, $2 million a year, that's different than somebody who makes $9 billion a year. So there should be different brackets for all these different levels. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then the second question that comes off of this is, what's the perfect amount of money to make per year to you, just for your ideal?
Well, I mean, since I make no amount of money per year, I could roughly say I'd be happy $275,000 a year, and I'd be very, very, very comfortable with that.
So there was an article, or a study, I should say, a while back that found out that, when people say, money doesn't buy happiness or whatever.
Fuck that.
That's actually, it's partly true, partly false. So
I just don't believe in that.
I'm going to explain to you. You're right. If you don't believe that, you're right. You're wrong.
That there shouldn't even be a side.
Look, let me break it down for you.
Yeah.
So they say money does buy happiness.
Yeah.
To a point. So they say the magic number where above this number, it's diminishing returns on happiness is $75,000. And they explain, this is why they say. They say if you make $75,000 a year, basically anywhere in the United States, you can live, not only are you living, you can pay all your bills, you're comfortable. Like you can pay all your bills, you're comfortable, and you can afford to go out to dinners every once in a while, you can afford to do all these different things.
And shit.
Right. At $75,000. That's the number. But they say above that, so if somebody makes $125,000 or if someone makes $300,000, that person is no more happier just based off their money than the person who makes $75,000. By the flip side, if you make $55,000 a year, you will be less happy because you make $55,000 compared to the person who makes $75,000.
Yeah.
And if you make $20,000, you're going to be even more unhappy because of how much you make. Because at that point, you can't afford to pay your bills. You're struggling.
Yeah,
you can't
depressed
live in comfort. You don't know where you're going to get the money to pay for X, Y, or Z.
Yeah.
So money does buy happiness to a point, but then it levels out. So given that information, does that change your mind at all, or are you still 275 as your number? And by the way, I think that's a fair number if it means anything.
Yeah, I mean, I could have been a dick and been like, I want $10 million a year. I don't know. I guess hearing 75,000, you could live comfortable. Maybe 150,000, 200,000.
Okay.
I still feel like $100 to $200,000, and I'd be fine with that.
Okay, you now stole my answer. That's my answer. My answer is $150,000 to $200,000 because I think all of us, actually not all of us, I think most people, they want to be rich. They want to have financial well-being. They want to be comfortable. They want to be able to afford the good things in life. If you want a nice car or whatever. Not, hey, I want 12 of them.
Yeah.
Not, hey, I want 3 mansions, 1 in Cabo, 1 in the Hamptons, whatever. But they want to be comfortable enough, right? And I think that the $150,000, $200,000 range, that's that zone where you're pretty rich, but you're not out of touch. There's
still appreciate
right. There's
shit.
A line where you're just out of touch.
Yeah.
There's a line where you're just a douche, where even if you try to remain in touch, you just can't be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People who make $2 million a year, $4 million a year. You're too rich. You're too rich.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not somebody who's I'm not rigid on this in the sense that I say, nobody should make more than X. No, some people will want more material goods than me.
Yeah.
Some people would be more comfortable with a vacation house or whatever. I don't care about that. So I get that there's there's a spectrum and there's variation in it, and some people want more, some people want less, right? But I think there is a line where above that line, there's almost no question you're going to be out of touch. You're not going to be able to understand the middle class. You're not going to be able to understand the struggles of other people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that $150,000 to $200,000 line, you're rich, you're doing very well, you're very comfortable, you can afford whatever you want, but you're in touch. You know, your friends still could make normal amounts of money, be middle class, and you can be in touch with people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're not in your fucking ivory tower or whatever the saying is.
Yeah, definitely agree on that. I think that's a comfortable number.
Okay. So that, ladies and gentlemen, we have now officially spoken. Go to try to make $150,000 to $200,000 a year. Don't try to make more. Don't try to make less.
If you make more, you give us the excess money.
If you make more, you're a dick and you're out of touch.
And you're going to buy some artwork that's fucking duty.
$142 million. All right, so...
can I give a quick shout-out to Kansas City's barbecue food?
Sure. You got a specific restaurant name?
There was a spot, LC's in Kansas City. If anybody's from Kansas City who listens to your show,
whoo! They now owe me $300 for that plug.
Dude,
free advertising on my airwaves.
I went to one spot when I was in Kansas City. I don't know the name of it. It was like I went for the weekend. It was right when I got off the plane. It was a grungy spot. But then the last day, this spot, LC's, was like in the hood of Kansas City. I was like the only white person in the restaurant. Like I took a photo of the slow cooker. The dude behind the counter was like, "Next time you take a photo, you let me know. I don't want to be in your photos." And I was like,
"Oh shit,
you got it, sir."
Shit!
Like I was shook. But the barbecue food out there is second to none.
Really?
Is that the saying?
Yeah, I think that's it. Second to none. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Off the hook.
All right, awesome. Got anything else you want to tell these lovely people who are listening to us?
Not that about it.
Okay, same here. All right, guys. Love you to death. Are you going to be here next week?
I should be. Oh, actually, I don't know. I'm going to South Carolina.
Damn, you're going around the fucking country. What are you on, like a book tour, or you doing stand-up comedy in all these places and not telling me?
This month I'm traveling a lot. It's crazy. Like, I don't know where I got the money to fund this shit, but somehow it's all paid for already.
Okay. So maybe...
so it might be 2 weeks.
Okay, maybe next week, maybe not next week, but definitely 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Love you to death. Kisses, smooches. I'll see you back here on Monday. Later.
Peace.